What is up, y'all? Scott here. Today we are talking about the creative process, and more specifically, my creative process when working on commercial jobs for clients. For those of you that are new here, welcome to the channel. I run a small video production company based out of Vancouver Island, British Columbia. I focus on outdoor adventure videos. I shoot everything with the GH5, and I make a lot of content on this channel that's showing the behind the scenes of jobs that I do and trips I go on, as well as tutorials about the GH5. So if that stuff is interesting to you, think about hitting that subscribe button down below. So the creative process, it is a tricky one to articulate in a video. The creative process for a commercial job might vary from how you would do something in a personal project where things might be a bit more fluid, but you need to be able to work through things in a step-by-step fashion so that you're efficient with your time and you're producing ideas that work. The first step of the creative process for me begins as soon as a client reaches out to me and wants to work on a project. I call this step discovery, and it's basically trying to understand as much as possible about the client and the problem they're trying to solve before diving into any brainstorming or any other steps of the process. It's really important to have a clear understanding of where you're going before you start, and that's why I spend a lot of time in this step to make sure I'm clear. The start of the discovery begins with a meeting with the client. We'll talk about their company, any staff members that might be involved, but most importantly, we're trying to understand what their problem is and how video is going to solve that problem. If you don't have a really clear understanding of the problem your client needs you to solve, it becomes really difficult to produce a video that'll actually do that for them and in turn make them a happy client. So I make sure that we've spent enough time thinking through what that goal is that they're trying to achieve, whether that's more sales, driving more people to their website, getting people to come to an event. There's all sorts of different sorts of problems they might be trying to solve, but being really clear on that so that they know if the video has been a success. During that discovery meeting, I also like to discuss any boundaries that we need to keep in mind when working on the project. This might be budgetary restrictions, a schedule that we have to adhere to, or it might even be the platform that they want to deliver on. We don't want these boundaries to limit our creative process, but we do want it to direct the creative process. There's no point in thinking down a path for too long that doesn't actually meet your client's needs. If I think there's an idea that will really help a client out that fits outside the boundaries that we've outlined, I'll suggest it to them, but I don't spend too much time going down those paths if it isn't going to work for the client's needs. After that initial meeting, the next step is to go home, digest that information, and do a bit more research. So I'm trying to make sure I have a full understanding of that client's information that they already have online. And so this would be their website, any of their social media, any brand videos or other videos they've put out there. Make sure I see what they already have that they're working with. On top of that, I like to get a little bit of a view of other people in the same industry, so I have a good understanding of what customers might be seeing from other companies and the general landscape that we're trying to create a video within. Once I have a good handle of all of this information, I'll move on to the next step of the project, which is brainstorming and concept development. This is the hardest part of the process to explain. Everybody has different ways they like to get creative. For me, the most important thing is shut off the computer, get rid of distractions. Sometimes I'll just lay on the couch. Sometimes I'll go out to a coffee shop. And in other cases, first thing when I wake up in the morning is actually when my best ideas come. During the brainstorm, I try to get down as many ideas as possible without being too critical of any of them. The important thing here is to get the brain moving and start thinking within the context of this project. One thing that helps me as I'm working through this is to pick a soundtrack that I feel like matches the tone that the video will carry. From that first meeting, I've probably already figured out if it's going to be a happy video or something more emotional and contemplative, and this will dictate the genre of music that I'll end up using in the end. If I play this music while I'm thinking about creative thoughts, generally they'll flow in that direction, and it helps me get some of those ideas out that might otherwise be locked up for a little bit longer. If I can't really get any ideas going, I'll often just take a break, go for a walk. Sometimes I find the best ideas come when I'm really not trying. One other thing that can be really helpful in the concept development process is identifying if you're going to use a voiceover, a talking head interview style, or just a narrative with no dialogue to communicate the idea you're trying to share. This will determine the type of concept you come up with and can be really helpful in the early stages as you're starting to figure out what this idea is going to be. Once I feel like I have between 1 and 3 good ideas, I'll write them out in a short paragraph describing what the video will be. I'll sleep on it and look at them fresh in the morning. And at this point, I'm trying to assess, do all these actually meet that goal to solve a problem for the client? If they don't, that idea is out. Once I figured out which one is the strongest, I'll pitch that to the client and explain to them why I think this is the best route to go. And if they're on board, then we'll move on to the next phase, which is storyboarding the final video. The idea with a storyboard is to draw small pictures that represent each of your shots in your final piece. I'm not an amazing artist when it comes to storyboards, but I can get enough information down, can even be stick figures, to describe what's going to happen and what kind of shots I'm looking to compose. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but it helps you figure out timing and helps you figure out angles. What I'm really trying to do is get the ideas out of my head onto a piece of paper, so on the day of the shoot, I know what shots I need to get to tell that story. If I just go out there without any ideas other than the basic concept, I'll likely miss some of the really important shots that I need to put everything together. With this, I like to identify if I'm shooting any wides, any mediums, any close-ups. All that's really important. Sometimes you'll need multiple angles of the same thing. And then I also like to think about shooting in sequences. So if I have a couple different characters in the piece, I'll make sure that each one has a couple different shots of whatever action they're doing that I can tie together and make for a more interesting edit. Use the storyboard as a tool to get those ideas that you started to develop during the concept phase into something that's more concrete, that you can actually go out, make a shot list, and go and shoot shot 1, shot 2, shot 3. Make sure you have all those shots in the bag before you go home for the day. The storyboard is also a really great tool when you're directing talent on the day of a shoot. If you know what shots you need, it's really easy to say, okay, go over there, walk this direction, pick up this book, and walk over there. Versus if you just have this idea of this actor picks up a book and does something with it, it's not clear how to actually execute that. And so when you've thought through frame by frame what that storyboard needs to look like, you can tell your talent exactly what they need to do and be efficient on the shoot day. After the storyboard is done, we get into the fun part of the process, which is execution and filming the video. On the day of filming, it's the culmination of all of the creative work that you've done. You get to utilize the environment that you're working in and have the creative juices flow on the spot and be spontaneous. And so while you are going to use your storyboard and your shot list to direct the overall flow of a project, there's still lots of opportunity to utilize the skills that you have and be creative on the spot. So that is my creative process. Not the easiest thing to describe. Sometimes it feels like it's a little bit of a mystery, but it's helpful to walk through these steps as I'm trying to think of an idea to make sure that I'm being as efficient and thorough as possible. I hope it was helpful to see how I think through a project. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Until the next video, get out there, make something beautiful, and I will see you all soon. Peace.